And welcome to our community. Susie Thomas here, visiting with Anthony Burwell from Emerge Counseling Services. Good morning, Anthony.
Good morning, Susie.
All right. As we were talking before going on the air, you mentioned that Emerge is one of those things that's known worldwide.
Yes.
But maybe not in our own backyard.
Absolutely. It's a funny conundrum that we find ourselves in, Susie. We're a ministry that's been dedicated to providing Christ-centered counseling for over 43 years. We were founded here in Akron. Our founder, Dr. Richard Dobbins, graduated from the University of Akron. And so we are a part of this community. We have been for decades. We are located on 900 Mole Avenue, very well near White Pond. So people know us. We see over 400 clients every week. And yet, because of the nature of our work in dealing with churches, particularly those AG churches, Assemblies of God churches, we're known all over the country because we travel to those destinations, to those to see those pastors and those missionaries. We have an 800 number that is available, a helpline that's available to that ministry as well. So people are reaching out to us in times of crises, and they have been supportive of our work, both spiritually and financially, for many years. So beyond that, we travel across the world. We've traveled to Africa, to parts of Europe and Asia to share the gospel through the ministry of counseling, to help people where they are that are fulfilling the needs and answering the call of God to go into those parts of the world and go and really share the gospel. So it has been said that we are perhaps Akron's best kept secret, and I'm not one who really likes to keep secrets.
No,
so,
let's get this secret out of the bag.
We want to get it out there.
Well, help us unpack this a little bit. What types of counseling does Emerge provide for families? Are you talking about marriage counseling? Are you talking about mental health in general?
Well, we are talking about mental health as in general, really the entire spectrum. So we see clients from ages 4, as young as age 4, all the way up. We have clients that are in their 80s that come regularly. The clients that come and see us see one of our 32 clinicians, and they're matched up with that clinician based on an intake process that they go into before they ever come and actually meet with someone. All of our clinicians are state certified. They are well credentialed. Many have been working in the field for better than 10 years, some better than 20, 25, even 30 years. So these are people who know their business. They know what they're doing. And each one of our clinicians also, they are Christ followers, not just in work, but also in their daily lives. And that is an expectation for anyone that comes and works with us. So the people that come to see us, there's no reason, or we don't ask them about their religious affiliation. We just need to know where they need help. And if they need help with their marriage, we have counselors who specialize in that. If they have gone through bouts of abuse, be those physical, mental abuse, sexual abuse, we can help them with that. If it's depression that they're working with after the loss of a loved one, grief counseling is one thing that we have made a name for ourselves here locally by responding to some tragedies such as the Chardon shooting. We were right there literally the next morning, working with the counselors, working with the students and the parents after that horrific event. And we do that because we know that there is a need for that. So in general, if you have a need and it's either an ongoing situation or you're just worried about something that's happening, families have been known to come in and we will counsel with just the kids, just figure out what's happening with the kids. Bullying has become something that has become pervasive and really acknowledged in the last 10 years. So we've seen an uptick in kids, youth that have come and seen us and their parents bringing them. But they have to recognize that what we're going to talk with the kids to try to understand what the children are going through, and we will bring the parents in as needed. So everyone is intended to be made to feel comfortable. It is a professional atmosphere, top to bottom. Our Christ-centered perspective guides us. We do everything to God's glory, and through that, we're able to reach people on a spiritual level, oftentimes, where they hadn't even recognized that that's where they might have been lacking. We like to use the phrase, Susie, that For many years, we have helped people at the bottom of the cliff. We've been that ambulance at the bottom of the cliff. What we want to do more of now, we've put measures in place to do so, is to build more fences at the top of the cliff.
Oh, that's good.
To keep people from falling into those valleys.
The whole idea of mental illness and mental health, there's been a stigma in the past that if people are not willing to accept it as an illness,
Right.
if you had the flu, you would do something to take care of the flu. But for some reason, mental illness is one of those things you would rather pretend wasn't there.
Right.
Do you see anything changing in that?
I'd like to say that it is changing, Susie. Really emerges at the forefront of that change. Dr. Dobbins created Emerge because he saw a gap. Actually, he saw two warring forces that weren't talking to one another, which were the religious community and their beliefs in Christ or following their faith, and then the mental health community, which included the social sciences and just dealing with people in a more natural level. Each thought that the other didn't have enough to offer to the point that they should talk to one another. Dr. Dobbins, being a pastor himself, saw that there was a great need and a void there. So he literally went back to school, became a clinician, and started Emerge sort of part-time while he was still pastoring. And then eventually, because then people started to see there is a need here, this is a place that I can go and I can feel safe, that they came to the point that he left his pastorate and he took on Emerge as a full-time entity. Now in this day and age, it's because you can find so many different avenues to try to self-help. You always wonder if people are going to reach out to professionals.
Right.
But I can tell you that when we put out notices in the community that, you can come see us and come sign up, we're not wanting, frankly, for more referrals. We're getting a great amount of referrals. The window of all we need is more office space. Frankly, if we had more offices, we could hire more clinicians. We would continue to see more people. So I think the stigma that had been so pervasive over the years, even last generation, is beginning to wane a bit.
That's good.
And the fact that more people have access to healthcare in its different forms has given people the willingness and opportunity to go and seek those things that can help them from a mental standpoint.
That's very encouraging. The other thing that is pervasive now in our current culture that wasn't maybe in the last generation or two is all the technology. So you mentioned bullying.
Yes.
Bullies have more tools now than ever before. And we're seeing, tragically, a rise in teen suicide because of cyber bullying. Can you touch on some of that?
Well, and I'll tell you, Suzie, I'm quick to say I'm not the expert. I am not a clinician. I'm a development person, and I support what we do wholeheartedly. Having said that, yes, there is, as you said, a because of technology, an opportunity to reach people covertly and say things where you never have to meet them face to face. That is something that we find ourselves having to deal with and having to cope with. At the same time, children and teens are dealing with the same thing that children and teens have dealt with for, throughout time.
True.
And it's because of the fact that they're not developed yet mentally enough. They're led to keep secrets. They're led to keep things to themselves. When if they would share them when they happen initially, when they first come about them, it could be something that would be prevented and would cause them less pain, and it would cause the situation to be able to be handled better, because adults can get involved and see things that that teens can't. Case in point, a little different than what you were talking about, but there was one situation that Emerge responded to happened at I can say, I won't go into any names, but happened in a state, western part of the state, not even here in Ohio. There was a pastor who he pastored a small church, and he was married, had 4 kids. Was found out that he was sexually molesting his 14-year-old daughter.
Oh my gosh.
He would literally get up out of the bed with his wife when she was sleeping and go into his daughter's room and just do unspeakable things. And it took time to talk about those secrets and the things that kids have to deal with, when they are being attacked and they don't realize that they're being victimized. It took time for this young girl to be brave enough to share with her mother what was happening. And immediately, or almost immediately, when she did, her mother confronted and did what was necessary. And, after a long, somewhat drawn out process, he is now serving, a very long prison sentence for these acts that he committed. So what does this have to do with Emerge? Well, we're so far away. How do we get involved? Well, when the father went to prison, the mother was left in a straits because you had her husband was the breadwinner.
Right.
She's now essentially a single mother with 4 kids and no income. The church community was in upheaval because he was the pastor, so he was trusted, and now there was he had sown discord and distrust throughout the community, and people react to that differently. And then in her home, she had her precious firstborn, who had been violated by the person who was meant to protect her and meant to be the head of the household to protect her. So she contacted Emerge. She didn't know where else to go, and the people in the church and others said, this is where you need to go. This is the organization that will help you, and we will do whatever we can to make that happen. So she contacted us, and what we said is what we always say. What is it that you need? How can we help? What can we do for you? She said, I need to see someone. My daughter needs to see someone. And our 3 little kids, younger kids, who now have blamed their sister for their father being taken away from them, needs help.
Yes.
So the entire family came to Ohio. They had never been here. They knew no one here. We opened our arms. We opened everything. We provided each of them with a counselor. So all 5 of them had their own individual counselor to speak with and clinician to speak with. I'm happy to say that family is doing much better now. The 3 kids, the younger kids are, they feel like they're in a place that they no longer need to seek a therapist. And the mother and the daughter, they visit with us about once a month to, again, get that continuum of care to continue to overcome some things that are ongoing so that they can move on and continue to have life, continue to lead a healthy, productive life. Emerge is there. We're here for anyone that needs help. We turn no one away, and that is the ministry that we are about. In fact, we just changed our name to Counseling Services so people had some idea of what we're actually doing.
Yes.
Just a couple of years ago. Before that, we were Emerge Ministries and still are.
But it is Emerge Counseling Services.
It is Emerge Counseling Services, yes.
Providing just a plethora
exactly.
across the board of whatever is necessary.
Marital tune-ups, pastoral counseling centers. We do both private counseling services, public counseling services. We really run the gamut in terms of what's available in mental health.
Let's not go a second longer without you giving a phone number and website address for anybody listening right now who's saying, oh boy, I need somebody, or I know someone who needs someone.
Well, Emerge is located at 900 Mole Avenue in Akron, and we can be reached online simply at emerge.org. You can go there, complete an intake form, or you can complete an intake form in person. If you'd like to call us, we have an 800 number. It is 800-621-5207, 621-5207, emerge.org.
And we are speaking with Anthony Burwell, who is in charge of development for Emerge Counseling Services. We've heard one dramatic story. I know there are many more to follow. You're not going to want to move, so stay with us, and you're listening to Our Community.